Hi everybody, it's Sue with Everyday Artisan, back for my June wrap-up of my wears and my makes for the month in my Alabama Chanin hand-sewn wardrobe. Just a little warning, it's a heat wave here on the East Coast. I think it's 100 degrees outside. This is the hottest room of my house because it was a add-on porch, and so I might melt by the end of this. I'm certainly wearing my hair totally natural. Yeah, it's hot. Okay, we're gonna start. It was my first wear of June, was my 52nd wear of the year. It was my all-time favorite tank dress in navy on navy, and I'm gonna put up two pictures of it because I want you to be able to see the texture of it up close. So truly, like I said, this dress is my favorite. It came from a kit that I bought at the Alabama Chanin workshop that I went to in 2016. So this is 10 years, almost 10 years old, lots of wears. It is navy on navy. It's the Facets stencil. I worked it up in the negative reverse applique to give it a lot of texture, and I love it. Okay, for my 53rd wear, I'm wearing a tank top pattern. It's in the natural fabric with the faded fabric underneath. It's in the Magdelena stencil, and it is reverse applique. And the thing that's a little bit unique about it is the fact that I did all the stitching in the black and the binding in the black to kind of give it a lot of a high contrast, which makes it fun to wear, I think. Okay, for day 54, I'm wearing my reversible corset on the plain black side and that dove swing skirt again. It's getting a lot more wear than I thought I was going to, but that single layer, well, it's mostly single layer. I did the zero waste technique on the bottom where I have the rose stencil. But it's a good one. I'm getting a lot of wear out of it, so I'm really excited. I haven't added any more beads to it yet, but I've got plenty of time. On my 55th day, I'm wearing it was a baby doll dress that I cut up into two and turned it into a midi skirt and a top. So I'm just wearing the top, and it is natural on natural. It was, again, a kit from Alabama Chanin, so they painted it. It's kind of a light gold paint. I worked it up in the negative reverse. I'm not sure if I told you Magdelena yet. Because that way you can keep the paint design on it. And actually, when I wore this, I think I should make more of these because they're pretty simple, and because it's just got the design on the top, it would be faster to work up. Plus, I like how loose it is around the bottom. And I'd just like to try it again. So I've got something in mind I'm going to tell you about later when I talk about my makes. Okay, day 56. That was the black crossback top and the skirt, the reversible mini. And I'm going to put up two pictures again because I discovered there was an issue with this skirt. Because it's two layers, when I sewed them together, I didn't catch all of the indigo fabric in the seaming. So it's now got a little bit of a gaping piece on it. And because it's a contrasting fabric underneath, it looks weird. And since I've worn it, it's even kind of gaped a little bit more. So I'm gonna have to take that one apart a little and try to reconstruct it with catching that indigo in the seam. So that's going to be in my makes pile for this month as well. Okay, next day was 57. That's going to be my black on black swing skirt. This one I made, it was originally, the piece of fabric was a poncho kit, so turned it into a swing skirt. So it was painted by Alabama Chanin. It's in the Anna's Garden, and I did the negative reverse applique on it. 58, this is the very first Alabama Chanin outfit I ever made. The skirt was from a kit, or actually they both were a kit from Alabama Chanin. The skirt was the first thing I ever made. Amazed it still fits me. It is apple on top of brunette in the Bloomers stencil with reverse applique. And then they had a corset kit that you could buy that was white with red beading. So it almost looked like a baseball, kind of, the ball I mean. And my boys were in baseball at the time, so I was like, oh, you know, that'd be cute. But then I was like, but I'd really like it to go really well with this skirt, so let me ask them if they would make the kit in brunette instead of white, and they did, and here it is. And I only made it a single layer, so I didn't end up putting the beads on it. Here, let me show you what I did end up. So the other layer ended up being this, that I put some spoon flower fabric on top of. So this was the second layer of the corset, and here is all the beads that would have gone on that other corset kit. So it's fun to kind of mix and match and make it your own. Okay, then day 59, I'm wearing my ballet fitted dress with natural underneath. That's the Anna's Garden stencil, reverse applique. It's a classic. I think I've worn it 3 or 4 times already this year. And then the last day, I'm wearing my white crossback tank. That was my big mistake, if you all remember, because it was also a poncho kit, and so I didn't lay my pattern pieces out the way I should have. But as you can tell, I am wearing this in London on vacation, which is where I spent most of the last week or so. So yeah, not a lot of making going on because I was traveling quite a bit this past month, and will be in the next month as well. So what did I make? Not a whole lot of anything. I warned you guys this summer was going to be a bust, and it was. I'm going to go ahead and throw up a video because I did do a few more elements on my Sonia scarf, and this video shows me adding chop beads to cover one of the shapes. I find this Sonia stencil design is going kind of slow for me, because I overthink what I'm gonna do with each shape, where I'm placing each color or each bead type, because I don't necessarily want to put same colors or same techniques side by side. So beading for me already goes kind of slow, but then you put that element to it. So needs to say, I'm taking my time. Here you go. Here's where I'm at this point. I think since the last time I showed you, I've only added a few more shapes. You know, I was actually, as I was putting it on this dress form, just to show you, I was like, wouldn't that be cute? Maybe if that was like a shirt that had a, and I'm like, oh God, no, stop. But don't be surprised if I look and try to find something like that in the future with that Sonia stencil. And we finally got my sister's classic jacket length painted in her Sonia stencil. And we ended up only doing this layer because the idea was we didn't have much time. I was up at her visiting her. we were rushing before we left, and we only ended up doing this. Originally, you would think I would have, if to do all over, I would have had to do a second layer, so I would have wanted the first layer to dry. And then we talked about the sleeves, and then she decided she didn't want anything on the sleeves at all. I tried to talk her into doing just a band around the bottom like I did kind of with this. Oh, you can't see from there. With this thing where you just do a little design around the cuff, if you will. But to her point, if there was a lot of beads on it and if it was on her arms, that might have been too much. So at least we got her project started, which I'm excited about. And then I will tell you about the other projects I've got in my work in progress pile. There's quite a few of them. Actually, I'll show you my non-Alabama Chanin ones first. So I bought these shorts from Saison, and they're well, they still are the Rome shorts, but the new Rome shorts they came out with don't have the cuffed hem, and this cuffed hem has forever driven me crazy because no matter how much I iron it, it doesn't stay. Well, when I was in London with my friends, we went to the Saison store because I love it because they're sustainable fashion. And I was explaining to somebody how I hardly ever wear these shorts for that reason. And she's like, well, you're a sewer. Why don't you just stitch it down? Oh, that's a brilliant idea. So that's one of the things on the list. The other thing that's a non-Alabama Chanin project, which I should have done before now, because we're about to have our country's birthday coming up. I bought this cutest little purse at a vintage shop, and it's great, but I don't see myself wearing it like this. You know, I like to have my hands free. So I think I'm going to take some fabric in this. This is the apple. I may end up doing the carmine instead of the apple. And see if I can put, make a real skinny strap, thread it through these sides. I can't do it on this side because that's already full with 2 straps, but these sides here only have a single strap in there. And then make a strap so that I could wear it as a crossbody. So I'm excited about this one. And then there's 2 other kind of items I've had in my work in progress pile for a while that I've not done anything with. I have this, that was the t-shirt pattern. Hold on, I'm showing you the back. That I made a long time ago to go with, I have just a plain verdant skirt. And this is verdant and parchment, and then I made the poncho to kind of go with it. And obviously I haven't worn this yet this year, so maybe it's time to start thinking about it and what I can do with it. So I cut the sides, as you can probably see, because it was too tight, and so I'm going to add probably a little bit of verdant down the side. I'm nervous that it's not going to be the same color, but it's the side, who's going to see. I've never loved this neckline, so I thought about trying to maybe make it into a boat neck. I don't know if that one's going to happen. And I've always thought it's a little too long. And actually it doesn't look that way with the mini skirt, but when you're wearing the swing skirt, it does. I've always thought it would be a little cuter if it were maybe like the same length as this shirt, probably more like that length, which is ironic because I was just looking at this shirt. Okay, don't tell anyone. I'm not even sure when. This was a very early make of mine. And I think I was so obsessed with having to figure out how to miter the V-neck that I kind of forgot everything else. I have since cut this. This is the A-line pattern. I originally made this shirt probably about 2 inches longer and cut it off, and I was just looking at it and I'm like, it's got a real raggedy jaggedy edge. Maybe I need to redo that. But then when I started looking at the edge, I realized I made this shirt inside out. I wouldn't want to turn it the other way. You know, I felled it down on this seam and it wouldn't look terrible, but I wouldn't want to wear it the other way. So anyway, and then if you recall earlier, I was telling you about this skirt, and it's gaping indigo seam. I don't know if you can tell, but it's on the list. That's on the list. And then there's one other project. So I told you I'm going to be traveling again this month, so I'd love to have something easy to sew on the plane. I told you when we were going through what I wore this month that I should make another shirt like this, which is actually the fitted top, and then I just cut 2 pieces and kind of sewed them on the bottom with a little bit of gathering to give it a little bit more weight. But I was like, oh, you know, something like this would be real quick and easy. I could just do something like this, but gosh, it's 100 degrees outside. I am not painting anything. It makes me have to sit outside, and I don't even know if paint would go on that well in this temperature. But I found something the other day. So, and y'all will have to tell me if you ever like go to the links of my blog, because I'm going to link the blog post below. I have a blog post where I talked about stencil placement, and basically the premise of it is I did something really stupid one time, and it was using the fitted pattern. So hey, same pattern, but I painted something without looking at it closely enough before I did it that looks like, it's all basically, and I don't know if you can tell by looking at it now, yeah, nice boobs. I'm not even sure I'm allowed to say that on YouTube. But this is actually the back, but I still think it would look weird, like I've got breasts on my back. So I've always kind of just had this in the pile, and I'm like, oh, I'll do something with it someday. But here's what I'm thinking I could do. And now don't forget, it matches this skirt. So I'm like, it's, you know, it's always been something on my mind to do something with. But if I were to try to do this with it, what I could do is use that on this side, but on the shorter side, kind of come down here and cut it there. Because obviously, you know, I only need pieces, you know, yo long for it. So it could end up being more like this, which I think would look a lot better. And then have just a plain twilight bottom to it. So those are all things that are on my current list. I know I said last video that I was getting so much wear out of that white panel tank that I should make another panel tank, and then I got to thinking about that, and should I make a navy one? Should I make a plum one? Should I make a black one? Because let's face it, white and black are the things that get worn kind of more than anything else, although I have probably 4 plain black tops already. So a lot to think about for next month. And in the meantime, I hope you guys are, if you're in the US, enjoying a holiday weekend. Anywhere else in the world, hopefully you're not as hot as we are. And thanks for joining me today. And I look forward to joining or meeting again next month, if not sooner. Okay.